it's Jay. I'm here today with a video with YA books that include sex. I haven't really seen any videos about this. Now, it's kind of a controversial topic for some adults about whether or not they want their kids reading books that have sex, but the thing is, like, sex in YA isn't like erotica. It's usually fade to black or just mentions of it or a little bit of action. Not very descriptive at all because it's not new adult or adult and it's not erotica in any way. So it's not going to be like certain fan fictions and 50 Shades of Grey. But I've got a list of 9 YA books that include sex. I'm just going to briefly talk about how it's presented, I guess, in the books. So the first one I've got is Jack of Hearts. I love this book so much. I need this book. The sex that's included here is there's a little advice column that the main character writes where people ask advice about sex and mentions different sexualities, including asexuality, which I was really excited about. And the main character is an out and proud gay boy who is not shy about how much he loves sex. And I thought that was just really empowering for not only teenagers as a whole to know that it's okay to enjoy yourself, but also for queer people to know that it's okay to enjoy themselves too. I've got Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. This didn't really include sex, but it did include a character referencing that she masturbates, and that's not like sex, but it's still in the same bowl, I guess. Like, it's M&M's to what Skittles are. That makes no sense. Anyway, it's the M&M's in the bowl of Skittles. And I still wanted to bring it up because it is still empowering, even though it's mentioned only very briefly. It's still, it's just slipped in there, and it's still letting teens know that it's okay to do that. So the next book I've got that includes sex is None of the Above by I.W. Gregorio. The sex scene is mentioned in the first chapter or two. It's very brief, and it was just the main character and her boyfriend tried to have sex homecoming night, and it didn't go too well because she is intersex, and so her genitals weren't exactly developed in a way that would make it less painful. There's other mentions of sex in here, but none like action, because Kristen and her doctor do discuss growing up and dealing with being intersex and stuff, and I think it was done in a very good way because I.W. Gregorio is actually a surgeon who has dealt with intersex patients. The next book is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This, if I remember correctly, it doesn't have a lot of action, but it does allude to them having sex, male sex, because the main character, his boyfriend, and one of their friends, I believe, were shopping for condoms when they saw one of the characters' dads, and they had a conversation. The dad was just like, "Here, I'll buy them for you," which I think was really good because, like, parents being supportive of protected sex is really important, and it was great that it was same-sex relationship and the dad was still supportive, but talk about one of them losing their virginity and going at it several times, and it was just done really well. It's not mentioned that often, it's not weighed very heavily, but it was still there. The next YA book that includes sex is Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This has a main character who's bisexual who loves to get down with both the ladies and the gentlemen. I don't think there were any scenes that had action, but like there were definitely talk between Monty and his father, I believe, about how he likes to sleep with a lot of women, and him and his best friend Percy, who he's in love with, talked about it too, and talked about how he likes to sleep with both men and women, and there's a scene where he was about to have sex with this girl, but then some guards walked in or something and he had to run away pretty much naked. I think it was good because, again, it's telling teenagers that it's okay to have sex if you want, just make sure it's protected. The next book that doesn't have any action but does have characters discussing sex is Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. The characters who discuss having sex, one of them is asexual, I think. It might be demisexual. I can't remember 100%. But there's discussion of sex and why she doesn't seem very comfortable having sex or being intimate with her boyfriend at all, and she's kind of grappling with her sexuality, and has to try and explain to her boyfriend that it's not you, like it's something going on internalized for me that I'm dealing with. The next book that actually has no documented action, but definitely has a character that is very sex empowered is 7 Ways We Lie by Riley Redgate. One of the main characters, are Seven, is, I don't want to say a sex fiend because that like has a bad connotation, I think, but she loves sex, she thinks it's fun and it's very empowering, and I think this was the first book I had read where there was like that was the first YA book I read where sex was put in a good light, and like really discussed it all, because like she is considered a slut because teenagers are mean and they bully people. The way the character handles it is done very well. The penultimate YA book I have that discusses sex is The Anatomical Shape of a Heart by Jen Bennett. This was a really cute contemporary romance, and there is action and it's not described very much, but it is like there are a couple paragraphs like, this is what we did, we tried this, and the funniest thing about this was that the girl, she wasn't a virgin, she'd had sex with her ex-boyfriend before, and then her new boyfriend, the love interest in this book, was a virgin, and he was so nervous, and he was like, I've done like a whole bunch of research on like the female orgasm and stuff, and it was really funny to read, but also like really sweet, and the girl was blushing so much, but she like really appreciated it, and they had sex like 3 times in this book. It's all in like the same little section of chapters. It doesn't really go into a lot of detail, but this was definitely it was cute. And the last YA book I have that includes sex actually has a little bit of action, and that is A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. This book has a scene where they're going, what is it? I think third base, and then they actually have sex. There's a scene where the girl and her boyfriend, the girl's mute, her boyfriend's deaf. They're in bed, fully clothed, and the girl starts touching her boyfriend, again, third base. And there's a little bit of description of that, and then later in the book they actually do have sex once or twice, I can't remember which, and there's a little bit of description as well, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't faded to black or anything, but like the description in this book was definitely YA appropriate. So that's all I got for today. I will be making a video in the future about more about YA and or sex in YA and why it's controversial, more and like how to write it and stuff, but those were just some book recs with sex and YA books. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you know of any others, put them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload. I upload every Wednesday, and I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.